Somebody said, I doubt you're even gonna chop. I don't know. You are now watching Farming with Duffy Ag. Welcome back to the channel. So, today's the day where my family's farm starts chopping all the corn because it's, yeah, dead. This was actually the field where I had source trials in it, so there is flags, but they probably ran them all over. Not much actual yields there, so it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it just sucks because I put so much time and effort into trying to go dairy farming with my family over the years, and I invested in a chopper and trucks and everything else, and at the end of the day I got shafted. So now I know how it is, and a lot of people have said this sound, or not a lot of people have said going to Iowa you're gonna get screwed, blah blah blah. You really can't get much more screwed than your own family screwing you on things. So that is where it is now. Water under the bridge. Like, it is what it is. I should have left here years ago and let the farm do their own thing and not. My teacher, Maxwell in college, always said, if the farm needs you to survive, then you shouldn't be there. As far as an employee. So, and that's really what I was. I was making $13 an hour and getting screwed. And yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, it just sucks. So, yep, they're right in here chopping. So, 840 ain't nothing. Well, it's a decent chopper, but yeah. It's amazing though. So the farm hires a custom crew in to do chopping, and everybody, all hands on deck, everybody has to pack bunk, everybody's got to be around, blah blah blah. They got both tractors and the wheel loader. When I was chopping, I couldn't even get the farm to do anything. I'd have to beg for somebody to run bunk. So it's like they wanted me to fail all along. And I know I'm rambling along on this side of it, but the amount of people that have reached out to me and been like, hey, we're in the same boat, or hey, it happened to me. You work your whole life, and the thing is, society says, oh, wait your turn, wait your turn. The amount of people that I know that waited their turn and did what they did and kept their mouth shut and had no opinion, and they're at the age 50 and the farm finally gets transitioned to them or something like that. Okay, so you're 50 years old and the farm got transitioned to you at that point. Usually you're stuck with debt, you have no motivation, your body's tired, you want to retire at some point, but then you get screwed. So, and I know some people are going to disagree with this, so I just pulled in here. Some people are going to disagree with this, but there's so many farms that they blame the economy and blame the world that they don't survive. But at the end of the day, it goes back to, they push the next generation out by not allowing them to have ideas or become owners or be part of it, and then they say, poor me, poor me, poor me. There's so many stories of that, and everybody goes, oh, well, it's tough farming. Yeah, it's tough farming, but it's even tougher when the next generation puts their heart into it and never gets a go of it. So, and I talked to, the big guys are big for a reason. I talked to my old housemate for a while last week, and they milk 1,400 cows, and very aggressive, they push the envelope. They're good managers. But the big thing is, the father has let the next generation step in and run things and push stuff and have new ideas, and they all work together. These generations where the previous generation, and every farm started as a small farm. It's not like one day they woke up and they were milking 2,000 cows or crop farming 20,000 acres, stuff like that. So at the end of the day, when people say, oh, it's the big guys, no. It's the fact that the little guy never diversified, never saw a bigger picture, was always, this is how we did it for 20 years. This is how we're going to do it for the next 20. And then saying, oh, it's the big guys or it's society. That's not at all how it is. Yes, economy of scale relates to things, and getting bigger is one way of doing it, but diversifying, figuring out, if you're stuck in your ways and you're always going to do it, the small guys are never going to make it because they get pushed out. The next generation gets pushed out and doesn't want to be a part of it. Who wants to be 50 years old and sit around and not have a future? Like, I'm 31. I've been trying to make this work full-time here for the last 4 years. Prior to that, I was off of the farm. I was not farming. And honestly, not farming is pretty depressing to be when you're a farmer. So when I worked for De La Valve at the beginning, I was not farming, and we've gone around and around. I should have probably never left New Zealand, or when I came back, I should have seen a bigger picture and started partnering up with a farm that wanted the next generation to succeed. Since, yeah, I could suck it up and keep my mouth shut and go with the ways and make $13 an hour, and when I'm 40 years old, I'm going to be burnt out of trying to struggle and everything else, and I still won't have a plan for the future, and I still won't be the next person in line, and there will be no transition strategy. Imagine that. Imagine any business other than farming, where they're like, let the older generation run the place till they're 70 something years old, 80 years old, and then try to transition to the next generation when they're 40 something years old. And the next generation is going to be burnt out. They don't have any drive. You can only push so hard and so much for so many years before you're like, hey, it would be nice to have a breather or have something that you know is going to happen in the future. So, yeah. Well, there's my ramble for today. So let's dive into today. I appreciate everybody that watches along. I do ramble along on some of this deep down inside, and literally, I got friends that call me and check in, and like, I bullshit with them about it, but it pisses me off at the end of the day, because I put so much effort into something and never got respected. And at the end of the day, we don't need you. Well, you can only hear "we don't need you" so many times in a row before you're, yeah. So, alrighty, we got plenty to do. I got my corn head to actually work on. At some point, people have said, how are you going to move all your equipment? At some point, my stuff's going to start getting moved to New York to be in a safer, better spot that can sit in storage or do stuff like that. So the chopper might end up in it will end up in New York, and it might run some more acres, who knows, or it might just sit there and wait for me to decide what I want to do with it. So we got that. We got the truck work. We got all sorts of stuff. You having a good day though? What'd you have? You have tacos for lunch? Yeah. So appreciate you guys. Me with the rambling. I gotta get it off my chest sometimes and let you guys know, because people write in the comments, go back, watch previous videos. It's tough. It's really tough. And I did say before I felt like I failed, and I still feel like I failed, but failed my vision. We're just changing course. It's all gonna work out. We gotta get it all figured out. So I'm stressed as anything over that too. Well, alrighty, let's dive into today. So there he goes. Honestly, it's just sad. I love chopping corn. Okay, so we got 3 trucks sitting right here waiting to chop. One just left. Keep in mind, whenever I was chopping, whenever a truck was sitting around, oh, we don't need another truck. Yeah, the truck doesn't matter. We don't need it. You can sit. At least Mike and his crew realize that you got to keep the chopper moving to make any of this make sense. My father never did. I've been looking at a computer and doing numbers for the last 6 hours. It does look like it's gonna rain over there. It ain't gonna rain here though. Struggle. So let me jump in. We're gonna take a ride. I gotta go get something to eat. My fridge is empty. The main fact is when you get done at 9 o'clock at night, you can't go shopping. But Nick was down there sniffing another dog. I think they chopped as much as they could for today. My brother said they did break a truck down or something, which is good. It shows my father that everybody has the same struggles. Yeah, not just, yeah, I got older stuff, but at the end of the day, it's not, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. I might delete that out. But. Alrighty, we're gonna jump in, get something to eat real quick, and then I probably got like 3 more hours of doing numbers so that I can send it to FSA. I've just been so busy. It's friggin' like 35 pages. I am organized on that side of it, but it still takes quite a bit. You coming? You coming? What are you doing? We'll go for a quick ride. How are you doing? You having a good day? Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, I love you. I love you, buddy. I love you. Alrighty. It definitely looks like it's gonna rain, but on the weather it says it ain't. So, based on this field and the 2 others that I know they did because the chopper was sitting in the field last night, we'll see how much more they got done up here. That is 11, 14, so 25, about 30 acres between those, and they moved up here and they ran for quite a while, and then I saw their trucks go by. But it's pretty easy to go through acres when you're chopping 5-ton corn. When you're chopping 22-ton corn, it takes a little bit longer than 5-ton corn. Just to say, so yeah, if they did 40 acres today, well, they're about 1/3 of the way through doing corn, so 3 days and they'll be done. Maybe we'll drive through the farm and I'll make sure what's going on with my stuff's okay. My brother said something about he got millings coming, but yeah, so I've been doing office work, and here's where my struggle is. Rent is due January 1st of crop ground. It's a lot of money for rent. I've done the numbers. It's gonna be a challenge, but, well, it ain't gonna be the easiest thing I've ever done in my life, but with no risk comes no reward, right? Oh, so they did 6 on this side when they opened up the other side. So there's their trucks out there. Yeah, not a bad chopper, little 860. It's like 320 horsepower or something like that. A lot more comfort than a 695. So yeah, what did I say? 30, so they did like 36, 37 acres. And then all this stuff's closer to the farm, but they got 4 trucks running and they should be able to keep right up with it. But alrighty, so rent is due 1st of the year, and the farmer needs to know by next week. And he does watch the videos. That's how this all happened. So when you guys write comments, he does read them. So at the end of the day, I truly believe this is a good idea. 100%. It's just the financials and not having anything to get going with. First time farmer, that is the biggest struggle. And FSA, banks, you can't just be like, hey, I need this right now. So there is one bank working on it. I'm finishing up my FSA stuff. I should have done it sooner. I've just been so busy. So it's rather struggling, but somebody jokingly said, go make a GoFundMe account. So I did. And, well, rent payment, if I can cover that, then I know I can go do it. I feel way more comfortable telling him, hey, I'm going to go farming. But that is my struggle, so we will see what comes of it. Farm got their 7320 back, and yeah, good little pile of feed. So that's about a quarter of what the feed will be. There is some better fields, but that probably will give a little more amount. Here we are. So we're still, tire's still good. Somebody said, I doubt you're even gonna chop. I don't know. I got Brian's to go chop, and like I said, the chopper's probably gonna go to New York, and let's be honest, it's probably gonna go to Evan's, and if Evan wants to run it to chop his stuff, or if we find some work along the way, then we will. So, and it's always good to have it. Somebody says, oh, just sell it, it's not, you won't get there. Yeah, I could go out there, buy something more expensive that I'd have no idea about. At least this one I know what I've screwed up. My brother was supposed to get millings today, and I guess that fell through. That's what I was coming to look on for driveway, but alrighty. Well, doing a little bit of creeping. I'm gonna go get some dinner, and then I'm gonna go sit back down, and we're gonna do probably 3 more, maybe 4 more hours of work. My head is gonna explode. So, what a joy. I'm trying. I really am trying. I'm very frustrated, if you guys haven't noticed. People have said, keep your family stuff out of it. If I didn't tell you guys what was going on, and I was like, oh, everything's good, you wouldn't understand. And I did that for a little bit of time and didn't explain everything, and then people said, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Okay, let me explain it to you. So then when I explained it to you, now you guys know. So. Oh, they got all 3 tractors on the bunk. I tried for that when I was, and the wheel loader pushing it up. I tried that for that when I was chopping, and that was never an option. So that was way too much rambling for one day. I agree. But if I'm keeping the daily content coming to you guys, when I'm doing office work, it's hard to get you out, but I actually got a lot off my chest and explained a lot of what's going on. And if you've made it this far, there is a GoFundMe if you haven't watched the other videos, so go check that out. Just to get the ball rolling. Yeah, the banks, they just take longer than, we're gonna make it work. We're gonna get it figured out. Maybe it won't be Iowa, maybe it will be New York. I don't know. Haven't really figured it out completely, but I'm still working on it. So appreciate you guys watching, liking, subscribing, being part of the channel. From here on out, hopefully we're gonna have a lot more, well, wrenching work, and we're gonna go find some crop work, stuff like that. We still have to do cover crop on our one field, and hopefully we get a second or a third cutting off our grass field. So appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Links down below. Have a good one.